Welcome to In the Spotlight. I'm Eric Townell. My guest today is Susan Cotroneo, Managing Director of the Rochester Lyric Opera. Welcome, Sue.
Thank you, Eric. Glad to be here.
Congratulations on your 10th anniversary.
Thank you very much. It's exciting.
It's very exciting. So how did the company start and how has it come to this point?
The company started 10 years ago as an idea that I had with my husband and a couple friends about a way to present opera to people that love opera, but also people that might not love it or know that they like it yet. So we said, let's do opera that's works within an hour-and-a-half framework. Let's put a little party on before or during or after, or all three, depending on the night. And let's give some people the experience of opera.
Opera for everyone, in other words.
Opera for everyone.
Oh, that's a marvelous thing.
Right.
And so do you perform opera in its original versions, or what's your approach to it? If it's for a more general audience?
It is really about the audience. It's about the venue. It might be in its original form. It might be in concert. It might be staged or semi-staged. We really will adapt to our space and our audience.
I see. And where have you performed in the past?
Where haven't we performed in the past? A couple places we have performed in the past. We've been at Kilbourne Hall. We've been at the Linehan Chapel, Nazareth College. We've been at the Visual Studies Workshop. We do opera every year at the Strong Museum as part of their Royal Ball weekend. We do something that's targeted towards children. Oh boy. We've been at the War Memorial.
Oh, even a big venue.
Opera, yes. They shrunk it up for us, but yeah.
In other words, a lot of non-traditional spaces for opera.
Right.
Not where you would go to expect to see the lady with the horns on her head, for instance.
Correct. Correct. And that's worked for us. It really helps with the opera for everyone tagline. It was out of necessity, but it's become something that we do. You know, you can see Rochester Lyric Opera anywhere.
And was it always Rochester Lyric Opera, or is that name new?
Right. That's a new name. It was Empire State Lyric Theater when we first founded the company. And then in 2012, we changed the name.
2012.
To Rochester Lyric Opera.
I see. So it's 3 years with the current identity. I see. And what was the opera scene before Empire State Lyric Theater? There were more companies in town, as I recall. Yeah,
there were some other companies in town, and they were at some points working separate of each other. There were some concert opera companies, some opera companies that staged opera. And then they all came together to form Mercury Opera.
I see.
Rochester, I'm thinking around 2003 or 4. And then we shortly after that founded our company, and we founded our company as a concert opera company. We were going to do something completely different than what Mercury was doing.
I see.
So as to present opera in another format.
I see. And then Mercury, as we know, dissolved some time ago. And then did its assets stay in town locally, or?
Right. So right after Mercury dissolved, we met with some of the board of Mercury Opera Rochester and made a decision that they were going to support our endeavors by gifting us their costumes and all of their performance records and any scores that they had. So we had several friendly conversations and a signed document. And
So in other words, a friendly transfer of the tradition that had been in Rochester.
That's right. And they sent us on their way. And then what was the Mercury Opera Guild became and is now the Rochester Opera Guild.
I see. And that's an external body of opera supporters.
Correct. It's autonomous of Rochester Lyric Opera. And because of that, they've had the ability to support any sort of sung music in Rochester, not just ours.
I see. I see. And so now, if you started as a concert opera company, what is the current identity and what's the plan for the future?
Well, are we talking just about opera, or are we talking about how we're going to move into this new home that we have?
We can come to the new home. You're referring to the Rochester Lyric Theater.
Right.
Tell us about that.
So We acquired this building, the First Church of Christ Scientist, in April, which is now the Lyric Theater, and which is now our home. That in itself is going to change how we present opera now.
Because you had been in these non-traditional venues, and now you'll have a focus for your activities.
Right. And our ultimate goal was, when the time is right and the venue is right, let's really stage some opera with the costumes and the sets and the appropriate lighting. Before we had a home, we would be in a space and we would say, have to bring in lighting.
Oh, I see.
And it wasn't going to be perfect. It was going to be the lighting that we could have in that space. Or maybe we could not have sets in that space.
Oh, I see.
We were really governed by our venue as to what we can do. Now we're in our new home. We still are not able to do exactly what we're going to do because it is still in the form of the church. It has pews and it has a circular, like a half round stage, but it's not a stage as we would think in
Yeah, but at least it's a venue that you control, and the attendant costs have gone away that come with renting everything that go into it for a performance.
For sure. That's a blessing for us, not to mention the fact that when we have rehearsal, we just go to our theater and have rehearsal. We are not on borrowed time someplace. We're not paying for that. And that we have been finding is very convenient. And we're not taping out a floor in some hall someplace, to match the stage that we're going to be on. We're on the stage, that we're going to be on.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And so where is the Rochester Lyric Theater?
The Rochester Lyric Theater is at 440 East Avenue.
Now, is that 440 East Avenue, that's roughly half a mile from downtown, is that correct?
That's correct.
Is that the neighborhood of the arts properly there, or?
It is. Well, it's just, I think it's just right on the edge of it.
On the border of the
Yep.
neighborhood of the arts.
Neighborhood of the arts.
So it's an area where people would be used to going for events like this?
Yes, yes. It would be, it's a perfect location. It's a perfect location for many reasons. It's downtown. It is on East Avenue, in a really beautiful part of town, not to mention part of the neighborhood of the arts. And there is life around it, which is a big seller for a lot of people.
Who are some of the neighbors in that area for people out of town?
The Genesee Valley Club is right across the street from us.
Is that a private club?
That's a private club. And but they're very excited about us being there. They've invited us to do a presentation for their membership,
Lovely.
which will be nice. We have the City Grill, which is a little bit towards downtown for us, with the
newly remodeled,
East
beautiful
Avenue
place.
Inn and Suites, and they're very excited. We have the Strath Allen to the other side of us.
Famous hotel.
That's right. And
the School of the Arts must be
School of the
there.
Arts is right at the other corner, down the corner on Prince Street.
And other arts institutions? Memorial Art Gallery must
Art
be there.
Gallery is there. Yeah.
And Visual Studies Workshop are at the other end of their
That's
street.
correct.
That's right. So it's an area where people might be comfortable going for a cultural event.
That's right. And I think the Lyric Theater solidifies that a little bit. I think it's going to tie all these organizations and these buildings together.
Now, why that building? What's special about it in terms of its history or its qualities?
Well, it's ours.
Yeah.
That building, let me tell you, and I'm sure everyone that's been in there would tell you the same thing. I have driven past that building probably countless times and never noticed it until it was brought to my attention as a potential place for our opera house. So until you realize that it's there and you go in, you have no idea why it's so special. But the minute you step foot in the place, you understand it visually, and there's a feeling there that's unlike any other. It's a really beautiful feeling, and the acoustic is great.
Oh, that's a very fortunate thing. So what is it that makes it so visually appealing?
Every inch of it.
Okay.
There is the beautiful domed ceiling, which was the inspiration for the for George Eastman's theater, the now Kodak Hall. And it is a complete circle. The structure, the main hall is a complete circle,
Oh.
and the ceiling is a dome on that. It's just gorgeous. The lighting is beautiful. The colors are beautiful. They've maintained it impeccably.
Oh, really?
So it's you walk in and you can't even believe that it's 100 years old
Oh.
with how they've taken care of it. The formal lobby looks like a lobby of a European opera house.
Oh.
So you feel like you're walking into someplace special before you even go take your seat.
My.
And then if you walk behind the theater in the hallway behind it, you are going to see our bonus space, which is a real treat, which was their Sunday school, and it will be our second stage cabaret hall with a cafe.
Oh, a second space, in other words.
Correct.
Not just the main circular hall.
Right.
Ah.
A bonus.
And you mentioned that's the first Church of Christ Scientist.
Yes.
Ah. And that's a round structure. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's interesting. And so now, what kind of productions will be performed there in coming years?
Well, it'll be our home, so and obviously anything that we do will be in that space, and that could range from a concert of opera arias. It will be fully staged opera with whatever you think that should be. It will be. It will be a space for smaller scale chamber works, and we'll run all of our outreach out of there.
I see. I see.
But in addition to it being our home, it's also going to be shared with the Rochester International Jazz Festival.
Oh, the Xerox Rochester
Right.
International. Yes,
So they will be our tenant. They proved it out this summer. They had 5
Oh.
shows in there for the Jazz Fest. And their goal is to be able to start a jazz series now that will run in our building from September through May, where you will buy a jazz pass, as you do for the festival, and you will bring your pass to any of 40 concerts
I see.
during the calendar
I see.
concert year.
Now, will that be in its current conformation? Because, it's currently, you mentioned there are pews and everything
Right.
like a church. Is it going to stay that way?
No,
I see.
no, it is not. The intention is to begin renovating the space so that it is a state-of-the-art theater within this beautiful old structure.
Oh, my.
And the Jazz Fest will not start their series until that is complete.
I see.
We're using the theater now as we can before renovations.
And so when does the theater go under construction?
Sure. The hope is that the theater will be under construction in the winter and then done and ready for us to open it in September
I see.
2016.
I see. And as a historical landmark, then, what considerations do you have for building it out?
We have to consider the exterior
I see.
mainly and work with the neighborhood association on any changes that we're going to do to the outside. And we aren't doing any really because we're doing all of our work inside. The structure is gorgeous as it is. It might need some landscaping or a new door here and there that's secure.
Yeah.
But most of the work will be on the inside. And our goal is to give the space all the elements of a real theater while maintaining the glory that is that building.
Oh, my, oh, my.
So you'll be in a comfortable theater seat.
Yes.
You will have an expansive stage in front of you with proper lighting and draping. But still, the beauty of what is already there is going to stay there.
Does it have the feeling of a church, or is it properly a theater?
It has the feeling of a theater.
That's remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, and even when it was a church, it felt like a theater. The audience, it's our audience, where the congregation sat, is already raked.
Oh, I see. In other words, the seats are on a slant.
Right, the seats are already on a slant. So it feels like a theater. And what some religions might call their altar, the Christian Scientists actually call it their stage.
Oh.
So it's not as formal as what you might see when you think of a church. You're not going to see what you would see in a Catholic church, let's say.
I see.
It's very much looking like a theater.
Oh, and how many seats will it contain?
We will, after renovation,
Yes.
We'll be over 900 seats.
Oh, my. Well, how does that compare to other performance venues in town, then?
It doesn't compare to any in town, which is another beautiful thing about this theater. We are going to really fill a gap, a necessary gap in this community for mid-sized theater.
Oh.
We need it, and so many other organizations need this size hall.
Oh, I see, because there are smaller ones and much larger ones.
Correct. Correct. And the smaller ones, smaller is not such a bad thing, but most of the time the smaller doesn't have what you need in terms of lighting or an orchestra pit.
I see.
So you're really stuck there if you want to do any real theatrical performances in the small halls. And the big halls, they're big.
Oh, my.
You know.
Yep. Like an Eastman Theater or a Rochester Broadway Theater, the Auditorium Theater.
Correct. They're just super big.
Right. And for singing, how is this hall? Is it, I mean, if it's going to be an opera hall, it better be good for voice.
It is.
Okay, wonderful.
It is. It's perfect for singers. And when the singers are on the stage singing, and I've been there the last couple nights doing that, you really can be self-indulgent. Not that I ever want to really admit that, but it's like you're singing, you're like, well, okay.
A favorable reinforcement acoustic then.
Yeah, and you're not tired at the end of the night. You're not getting, you're not feeling like it's dead and the singer's ego immediately thinks, well, no one can hear me now if I can't hear myself. We don't have that. You hear it all, and you hear each other in ensemble. It's really great, and the overtones really work well together.
Oh my! And you mentioned an orchestra pit. It's not there currently.
It's not there currently. It will be there.
I see.
Yes, the theater itself is about 6,000 square feet, and underneath the theater is 6,000 square feet of unexcavated earth.
Oh, is that
except
right?
for a tunnel to get to and from the front to the back.
So a lot of the infrastructure can go down there and not affect the performance space.
Correct.
So you're going to retrofit all of that, or?
The plan is to remove the current deck of the theater and excavate the basement so that we can have everything there that we need, which would be an orchestra pit, which would be instrument storage, costume storage, scene shop, and the ability to really put in some state-of-the-art HVAC. So that,
in other words, quiet.
Quiet, yes, so that we could heat and cool that space without it interfering with the performance.
Oh, in other words, you can do all of that and increase the capacity of the building for performances without disrupting the structure, the splendor and the historic value of the.
Correct.
That's remarkable.
Right. It will feel, after it's done, I have a sense that it'll feel like we've plopped a theater into this gorgeous hall.
Isn't that that's a wonderful concept?
Yeah.
So if people are coming to a concert, one concern is in a neighborhood that's so residential and with so many landmarks, where are they going to leave their vehicle, for instance, and how do they have access to the theater?
The church, well, now the theater, owns a parking lot, and the official address is 4 Prince Street of our parking lot, and it fits about 83 cars. And we intend to use that, and that will be, there's a sign there for people that are coming, they'll see that that's Lyric Theater parking.
I see.
They also are able to use the parking lot at the Third Presbyterian Church. We have an agreement that we've worked out with them, and we also have just made an agreement with Pat Stone, who is a building right behind us, behind the theater, and they have 50 spots. So we have access to a lot of parking. In addition to the theater as it is now has a pull around for cars where we'll have an attendant helping people in and out of their cars that are getting dropped off, can't walk far distance. And right at that drive circle is also the handicap access, the elevator, the lift that will take people in the building and up to the
Oh, so there is an
theater.
elevator. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
So-
fantastic.
We will have 4 attendants, 3 at lots, and then 1 at our building.
That will be the pattern, then, attendance and
That's what we're
accessible
going to
parking.
try to establish.
And neighboring parking lots and access, because it was always a big congregation, as I recall.
That's right, that's right. They built it when there were 1,200
Oh,
members
yes, uh-huh.
there.
So parking really should not be an issue for anybody
right.
attending.
That's right.
So you could watch for lyric opera events in the coming years. And what is on the horizon for lyric opera in terms of its outreach and its education? And what comes across your mind?
Well, because we have this home, we can really expand our outreach activities that we've developed in the last, 10 years. Which is very nice for us. So we will continue our outreach. We have a high school voice competition that we have had at other locations, obviously.
I see.
We've had it at School of the Arts. We've had it at the Baptist Temple on Clover Street. This year we get to have it in our space, which will be nice. And we have a recital competition for singers that are over the age of 18.
I see.
We'll offer that in our space this year. I believe in opera for everyone and bringing opera on location, so we'll continue our outreach of bringing opera to children at the Strong Museum. I believe strongly in that mission, and we fill up that auditorium 3 times, so we're not stopping that.
That's wonderful.
We have had in the past a music theater vocal institute that we've partnered with Nazareth College on, at Nazareth College.
Now, is that during the fall, or?
That's in the summer,
That's a summer
typically.
program,
And the plan, we're talking about bringing that back, but bringing it to the theater
Oh, I see. I
on
see.
our turf. And
I see.
yeah, we're excited to do that. Nazareth is excited to do that. So we'll continue that.
How about opportunities for local artists to participate?
Yes, we already have opportunities. We have a program called Local Vocal for our local singers that are committed singers but have committed to Rochester,
Oh, I see.
making their lives in Rochester.
Right,
And they're passionate and they're hungry to perform, and we are giving them a platform.
And bring good training to their artwork?
That's right, correct. They will have great coaches. We'll offer them master classes and give them a platform or a stage. And how great it's going to be in this beautiful theater.
Oh, yeah,
that they
that's
can
fantastic.
They can perform where the professionals will perform.
Oh, that's fantastic. So I understood there's a high school level competition and then an adult level competition and a summer program and outreach programs at the Strong Museum and a program for avocational singers, local avocational singers. That's quite a full offering, and then staged opera on top of that. That's a very comprehensive offering for an opera company.
It might even be too much. If you ask me right this minute.
But presumably you're up to it.
Oh, absolutely. No, it's going to happen.
Wonderful. And have you had good support for the company in general and for the building in particular recently?
Yes, yeah. People are really gung-ho about this building
I see.
and about the opera company. And for us, for Rochester Lyric Opera, it's been great because it's not so hard. It's always hard to go ask people for money.
Yes.
And it might be even a little harder to ask them for money for opera. And but now that I say, can you please sponsor our opera? And if you do, your corporate logo will be on those beautiful banners on the outside of our building on East Avenue. And they say, sure, I'm in. Even if it meant doubling their sponsorship from the year before.
Oh my.
Yes, we'll do that.
The location is everything.
Yeah, and it's been great. We're going to put an opera on next weekend, and it was paid for a month ago.
Oh, well, that is phenomenal news for any opera company in Rochester, where the history, people understand, has been a little bit spotty. They say,
That's right.
oh, opera in Rochester, but this one sounds like it really has legs.
I think it does have legs.
Well, that's wonderful news.
Yeah.
And so now, how about bringing up the next generation of opera singers? Because you came with a lot of training, and there are avocational singers with training. And what are you doing on the educational side that people should know about?
So I'm giving away secrets. That's all right. We are working right now to develop a young artist program where we want to really help let's call them the 20-somethings that have graduated from college and are thinking about grad school, are thinking about a career. They happen to be in Rochester because we know that the university system in this region is so rich for music education. You know? So there's a lot of singers around that are in that middle space right now, and I want to help them. I want to also give them a stage.
I see.
To, you know, get some experience under their belts, and how great that they can be in Rochester, which is affordable, and still be with their phenomenal teachers at their schools, and also get some experience. You know, it's not a plane ride to New York City. It's not the cost. It's not the time. You know, let's do it right here. Let's get you guys some real experience.
In other words, keep the talent in Rochester and keep them invested in our community.
That's right.
And doing the good where they sing with their churches and.
Right. And yes, as long as they're here, let's really build them up. And when they're gone, let's bring them back. And they're going to go have careers. You know, so let's build our repertory company here.
That's lovely. Yeah. Every road leads through Rochester in a way.
Yeah, well, it should. Yeah.
That's terrific. So now, you've mentioned the Lyric Opera, and the Jazz Festival. Are other entities using the Lyric Theater also? Do you rent it?
Yes.
I see.
The minute we bought the Lyric Theater, we started receiving calls.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, boy, from other music organizations that wanted to use it now for concerts and want to use it when it's renovated. Can they get in on the ground floor? Can they be a part of what's going to happen at that theater? So we have music organizations. We have several corporate events that have already happened and more that are happening. Cocktail parties, fundraisers.
In other words, a full range of activities in that building.
Exactly. We've had phone calls for proms already, but springtime we will not be in any condition to host a prom.
That day will come soon.
That's right.
Thank you so much for being my guest on
Sure, thanks for having me.
My guest is Susan Cotroneo. Thank you so much for joining us.